When the place is as beautiful as this, it doesn't really matter if the sun isn't going to shine today, nor if there's a little bit of Scotch mist about the place. Well, today we're heading off from Latagan, which is just on the edge of Loch Duick, and we're going up a rather windy hill, down the strait on the other side, and we're going to have a look at some Pictish Brochs, and then back along the coast, keeping an eye out for otters of course, to the end of the road. Then of course we're going back up the hill, down the hill, and back to the hostel. But I'm going to have to make another little journey today, so we're heading off around Loch Duick, past Eilean Donan Castle, but more importantly to the spa shop, because I just need some food for my evening meal. So, heading up the hill, we keep getting some lovely views of the loch and the hills around it. For those who like to know these things, some of the hills are called the Five Sisters, and there's also somewhere around there the Two Brothers, so proper family of hills. Heading up now into the wooded area and then out again at the top. Not much to see in between. But once you get to the top, the view is magnificent. I just love this sort of place. Wild enough to be beautiful like this, civilized enough to have tarmac. With a last look backwards, we're heading down the hill and towards the coast on the other side. This is one of those hills that I wish I had my bicycle on. Well, he's coming down this side. A long straight road, feet off the pedals, and in true boyish fashion, just going whee all the way down. Oh, I'll never grow up. It's too late for that. No, although it's not quite as wild on this side, it is still absolutely lovely. And I'm sure once upon a time all these hills were covered in trees. And across the water at the coast you've got the Isle of Skye, so not too far to go. From around here there's a little ferry that can take you over there. I think it just runs in summer. It may have ceased to run at all. I've been on it a couple of times. Taking a little turn off from the main road to the side road. I love single track roads. most of the time. And then you see a dust cart approaching. And this one, well, bless you mate, has pulled over for me. Now, that can't happen every time because they're big wagons on a small road. And that's what happens here. He's not going to reverse, so I think it's down to me. So can I find reverse gear? With the camber of the road, I'm only actually flat-footed on one side. So this is interesting. I just need to find a faster gear. There we go. It's hard work, and I've got the heated jacket on. Working up a nice little sweat now. And into the edge of a lay-by. I think I'm far enough away. And there's a good reason he wasn't going to reverse. I just muttered a thing or two under my helmet. And in a moment too, we're at the Pictish Broch, the first one that I want to go to. And really need to take the helmet off. It's a bit sweaty after the exertions. Yes, we'll go see that Pictish Broch. And there we are. It doesn't look like much, but I find them quite fascinating. Built about 4,000 years ago. And look at that, not a piece of mortar anywhere. And just picking up the stone that's in the area, regardless of the size, and finding a use for it. I mean, look at the size of that little darling. Now the construction is not only very, very solid, but it's actually twin walled. And the walls lean slightly in towards each other for support, held together by these flat stones, which also, as you can see on the picture here, make a series of places where people can actually go and store things. And for those who like their geology, Oichi, where are you? We need you. Steps leading up to the next level, and in the corner here a proper storeroom. And you can see the next level is built of really solid slabs of granite. This is good engineering. Now nobody knows an awful lot about the Picts, and to me this is quite clearly a defensive place. There's another one just up the road, so heading up there. Now it's in quite a different spot, and it's just coming into view now, so you can see that is a much more defensible place. And from there you're looking up the valley. The hills would have been wooded and providing not just fuel but deer and hares, and down the valley towards the coast, and you can see that there's some really good farming land there. The other block is just hidden by the trees there, and this one really does seem defensible. Anyway, back down to join the main road and to follow the coast. There's some good farming land here in patches, and the rivers coming down providing loads of fish for locals, and then you've got the sea all around. I can't help thinking how it would have been like for those Picts living here, and the only people who are going to threaten your existence would arrive on boats which basically were bent timber and hide, so little boats, mostly men coming on them to raid, and they would have to come up the valley to find you, and once you were inside your block and you'd got your animals in there, you'd be safe and secure. And of course, the waterways were the only ways of getting about in an area like this. You weren't going to go too far up and over all the hills. The coast around here is full of these absolutely gorgeous little bays. And some people are lucky enough to live here, park their cars, and then park their little boats out in the water. Such a hard life. And for some people, it's even harder. But once upon a time, nice guy there, this was a really hard place to earn a living, and the peasants were turfed off their land by the landowners because there was more profit in sheep. But we're not going to talk about that just now. And parking up in what is really my kind of car park. And as you can see, we've reached the end of the road. And if you ended up living in a place like this, you'd probably be quite happy. Not a lot for the teenagers though. And this grizzly old man, he says he's quite happy here. this is where I was to end up, I would be content indeed. Time to go back. There are times when having to backtrack just seems like an annoying pain. This is not one of those times. It's as beautiful going back as coming down in the first place. And I've just got to slow down just to absorb the beautiful views. And oh yes, there's that Scotch mist rolling in, just steadily heading towards me. And I don't care. A little late lunch, a very late lunch as it happens. Good food and good company. The people in that little cafe were brilliant. Anyway, we've been up the hill and down the hill and got a little bit damp. And so now it's time to head to the shop, which just happens to be about 10 miles away or something like that. Not a place where you can live without transport. But, and this is one of the real pluses of this place, the supermarkets deliver through most of the Highlands of Scotland. I think that's brilliant. Well, we're getting near the shop, and we're actually getting near to Eilean Donan Castle, which is one of the big tourist attractions along the Lochs coast. Right. I'm not going to say a lot today, so these are some photos that I took, shall we say, on a better day. Lovely place to visit. And there's the spa just coming into view, with a nicely placed lay-by just opposite. Time to pick up some pasta or something for tea. Head back to the hostel at Latagan and just chill. I'm talking of chill, this is Blue. Now, Blue is the person who owns the motorbike. He's very fond of certain things like chocolate. He ventures out and has a look at nature from time to time, but he's not entirely happy with it. But he does like his outdoor activities with his friends. This is Monk, and he's been surfing. This is Blue, and he's got a wet bum. But there's always après surf and chocolate. For Blue's sake.